So I've been seeing some videos and things lately. Like, there's one where someone's talking about horror villains he could beat, and stuff like that. And then, you have Down Below Scares posting, out of these animatronics, which would be easiest to win against. And so I was thinking about the Spirit Halloween 2022 lineup, and which animatronics would be the hardest to kill if you ever had to fight them, and which would be the easiest. So, I'm just wondering, let's go through the animatronics and see what I'd think. So I'm fairly beefy. I have judo experience. So hey, let's see. So the first one is Bag of Bones. Now, you might expect me to say, haha, small skeleton dude, easy. Now, but he could put up a bit of a fight. I mean, let's think about this. It's confirmed that he has a chest and arms, and a head. So he's at least a crawler. Now, that would be pretty easy to stomp, but if he has anything more, we don't know. Except here's the thing. His bones, he might be really fast, but he has no meat on them. So he'd be very easy to take apart, almost like a take-apartable action figure. Or even like Lego. And once he's apart, I don't know, bury all his parts at random places, I don't know. So Bag of Bones would probably be fairly easy. I'd say I win, low difficulty. Next we have Betty Sharpe. And I'm gonna say it, I don't think I'd win. And of course it's a kid. You could just drop kick it. Maybe pick up the bag and hit her with it. Although, here's the issue. She has a knife. And that's kind of a big factor. Because if she stabs you in the gut, pretty much game over. Blood loss, you pass out. And you may be able to, really do some damage. And so it's possible there'd be, a win-lose, something like that. So it's possible you could kill her, but you'd still be really maimed. And if you don't play your cards right, you could even be gutted or something. So I'm gonna say Betty Sharpe would win, but high difficulty. She'd definitely have a run for her money. So it definitely not the hardest, but she'd definitely do a lot of damage. Then we have Bog Zombie. The nature of being Bog Zombie, I feel like he'd probably have a fair bit of strength, but he'd seem very wobbly, very dizzy, because his animation is swaying around and so there's a good chance he couldn't walk straight. So that gives us the option of tripping, which could possibly be the deciding factor. Trip him, stomp him while he's down, stab him with a branch or something. So, I do think he could be done, but he'd probably win. And I'd say, medium difficulty. Because, I feel like I could still put up a fight, but the literal living dead, I don't know how I'd do against. Next, we have Lil Skelly Bones. Now, okay, look. He has the advantage of speed, sure. But let's analyze this. He's not particularly sharp, because he has cloth padding every inch of his body. Except for that face, but whatever. And he could argue that's armor. However, I see that as just softening the blows he'd take to you. And he has the advantage of speed, yes, but he also seems very late. Or, late? Light. And so there's a good chance you could just pick him up by the neck, slam him against the tree, he's done. Smash his skull in. So Lil Skelly Bones, pretty damn easy to fight in my opinion. I win, low difficulty. Next we have Lord Raven. Well, let's analyze this. He probably has an army of crows. Oh, and by the way, I'm talking about the characters here, not the actual animatronics. Because we're talking the actual animatronic bodies came to life and had to fight me. Ha! Easy. As I said with Bag of Bones, you could take them apart like Lego. I mean, hit them with a bat, that would total them. I'm talking about the characters here. But anyways, Lord Raven, Army of Crows. Probably not that good. Long beak. Maybe if you manage to get your hand around and close it, maybe that could be fairly easy. But he also has sharp talons. So that would be one hand on the beak, one hand having to get the talents, and I don't know about that. He's definitely 6 feet tall, so he has a height gain on me. He's skinny as hell, but I feel like he could have some strength, and so I must say Lord Raven would probably win. With about low to medium difficulty. Okay, now we have Monty. And pardon my French, but I'd just like to say I'm fucked. I mean, there is no way in how I'm beating Monty. Because there are two ways you could look at this guy. A, he's a genuine monkey. Which, if so, look up Travis the Chimp or something like that. Be warned, it's disturbing as hell. Or monkeys on Xanax. But monkeys and apes can do some serious damn damage. And you're telling me this guy has two big things of metal in his hands? Yeah. He could maybe smash your head in. Sure, that's the obvious. Or maybe even throw them as frisbees and, cut your head off, Predator disc style. Yeah, no. That's a very, he's definitely winning on that front. Now, possess toy. Maybe be a little easier. However, with being scaled up and all that, I think what we'd be dealing with in terms of strength would be Five Nights at Freddy's Animatronic. Of course, maybe he's not full metal, but I don't know. I still think he could be a bit of a problem. So I'd say Monty wins, low difficulty. The next one here is Mr. Punchy. So you might look at him, think, oh damn, that could be pretty tricky. 6 feet to 6 feet 4, not great. And, big sharp hands, also not great. However, let me raise you this. You know how there's that iconic prank where you put a thumbtack on someone's chair, they sit on it and get poked? Do this to this guy, he's rolling over to you, throw a little thumbtack down, some nails, hell, even some Legos. I don't know why I keep bringing up Legos, but even that, he is screwed. That pops the balloon, and we don't know how much of the body his balloon takes up. Maybe his entire body is inflated, which if so, bye-bye, he's just skin. But even if it's just the bottom bit, that means he deflates, goes on the ground, probably head first, then you could get behind him, maybe grab his head, smash him into the ground a few times, or maybe curb stomp him. Boom. Mr. Punchy's dead. So I'd say I win, low difficulty. Next is Nozzles the Clown, who you may think has a fighting chance, although I don't really know. And here's why. Obviously, toxic gas, pretty bad. However, get this. Wear a mask. And maybe you don't have a gas mask on you. COVID mask could work. Or hey, I know. Cover your mouth and don't breathe. Maybe put your shirt over your mouth and nose. Easy. Maybe it irritates the eyes. Okay, squint. Maybe just completely close your eyes and fight blind. And so once the gas isn't a problem, hell, you could even stick something in his nozzles and boom, gas doesn't come out. And so, with gas not being a problem, I have a feeling him using gas all the time would get him a little cocky, so he might not have a lot of hand-to-hand fighting experience. He might just think, oh, I can stand back and gas people. But the gas is taken care of. I think he's going down easily. I don't think he'd have any combat experience. So, I'd say I win, low difficulty. Possessed Pumpkin. This one's mixed. Probably a very half and half. Because he's 7 feet tall, beefy as hell. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. However, what I'd like to raise is that he has straw around his hands, and around his neck, and around his legs, and he has cloth. So there's a good chance a lot of his body is straw. And straw is quite a flammable material. So it's possible, grab a little match, light him on fire. And so that could be pretty good, even sparking some stones together. And so that could have him dealt with fairly easily. But if he survives that, I don't really know. Although here's the thing too. Of course, maybe he has something going on. But the whole point of pumpkins is that we stab them and carve them. And so they're fairly weak in that sense. So maybe if you have an axe, get the advantage of height, or like be really quick dashing through his legs or whatever to avoid his claws, he could be fairly fragile. So I would say I win mid to hard difficulty, because I do think he definitely have room to, beat me, but again, I do think defeating him is possible. The next one I'll put is Deadly Creeper. We're straying from alphabetical order, but you might see why. The issue with Deadly Creeper is he's a big-ass spider. If you've seen the videos he's in, he's giant. So maybe look, his legs look skinny, so maybe you could bend them and break them. Although, also, he could probably kick you from all angles. And because of that, I really don't think I'd have too good a chance of him. And being a spider, hell, maybe he'd have a web somewhere. Maybe he'd climb on the ceiling. And that's a big issue. So, I don't think I'd win against Deadly Creeper. And, I'd say he wins mid-difficulty. Now we have Straw Man. People might be going, "Oh, Straw Man, best animatronic. He'd be so hard." I say, no, absolutely not. And here's why. I talked about Possessed Pumpkin being flammable? Yeah, at least his body was made out of pumpkin. Straw Man, to the best of our knowledge, the only things we see on him, cloth and straw. Even if he has a skeleton in there, even if he does, that guy is lighting up like a Christmas tree. Get a little spark there, a match, a cigarette fire, a lighter, he's lit up. He's complete toast. Literally. And so I think Straw Man would be a super easy fight in that regard. And so maybe if he has a skeleton down there or something, maybe that could be a little tricky if it survives. Although then you're with a sort of beefed up bag of bones situation. Which, honestly, a skeleton could maybe be fairly easy to deal with. Snap it apart and, hit it. Easy. Straw Man, low difficulty. That guy is just gonna burn up. Reagan. Granted, I haven't seen The Exorcist. But I think she's human, so that's fairly okay. But she's also, possessed. I think I've seen clips of her walking downstairs all weird. Her head spins and barfs. So I don't know. I don't think I'd really have a good chance against that. I mean, maybe I'd have a decent chance, but it's also a literal demon inside there, so I'm sorry, I don't think. Reagan would definitely win mid-difficulty. Next we have Young Crouchy. Young Crouchy's very deceiving, because if he's a shrunken down Crouchy, we don't know if he'd carry the strength with him. And because that's a little troubling. And he'd also be fast, agile, and his claws are sharp. So that's a huge deal breaker. And so there's a possibility he could win. However, like little skelly bones, he's light. So maybe if you hold the hands together and throw him against something, you could have a chance. But he'd put up a lot of a fight because he's agile, he's got the claws, he'd scratch you a lot. Not a fun fight. I definitely think I could win, but high difficulty. He'd be a very tricky fight. Next we have Rat Girl. And yes, she's agile and all, and, killed a rat. But she's not possessed. She's just a crazy little girl. And because of this, little Skelly Bone Strat, pick her up by the neck, slam her down. Easy. Killed the little girl. What the fuck am I saying? I'm in my room alone talking about... whatever. You know the context of the video. But yeah, I think Rat Girl would be a fairly easy fight. I win, low difficulty. Next we have Spike. And there are a few ways this could go. Although, I don't know. Because if he's tied up, free punching bag. And if he escapes, then he's a crawler. The issue I have, now that I'm thinking about it, is he has a spike in his head. So maybe you could take it out and, stab with it more. But conventionally, zombies are destroyed by, removing the head or destroying the brain. And so if he has a spike right through his head, unless it had a lucky shot and didn't hit the brain, if you can't take him out like that, that's a big issue. And so maybe you could, pull a Mr. Punchy final phase strat where you just smash him into the ground from behind, but I'm not quite sure. I definitely think I'd win, though mid-difficulty. The spike definitely would help a lot. Next is Toothy the Clown. Granted, I haven't seen him in person. I don't know how big he is. And hand-to-hand combat, he'd probably be okay-ish. Probably do a lot of punching and whacking. And he is fairly chunky too. Although, I do think I have a chance with him. Throw him to the ground, stomp him a bit, maybe break his arm, because, I know a few arm bars. But yeah, I definitely think Mr. Punchy could be fairly easy. He'd put up a fight, but if he has no weapons, I'm sorry. So I'd say Mr. Punchy. Wait, Mr. Punchy? I mean Mr. Toothy the Clown. I win, but mid-difficulty. Tombstone Terror. I know I said Bag of Bones would maybe have some challenge to him, but Tombstone Terror, nada. Nothing. Because at least Bag of Bones, he was implied to have, a body at least. At least an upper body. Tombstone Terror, all he is a skull, and at that, a small one. Which is very easy. Maybe it's even connected to the tombstone because it's technically not behind it. So all you could do, get the skull, crank it off like a bottle cap, and boom, what is he then? Just a skull. Throw him across a tree, maybe pick him up again, throw him across a tree. You have a glorified ball. Skull breaks, fight over. Tombstone Terror, low difficulty. Next, Roaming Antique Doll. Again, she's small, might have this advantage of speed, but again, you could lift her up, because she's porcelain, would probably shatter a lot. And sure, maybe with dolls, then maybe the soul would escape, and then that would be an issue, so you have to, hide in a weird rabbit suit in the back of the pizzeria, but then, what's this, and malfunctions, you have mechanic parts in you, Okay, look, I'm sorry. I'm kind of developing a Five Nights at Freddy's obsession, and that was a really stupid insertion, but whatever. Although, point is, Roaming Antique Doll, probably pretty easy. Then we have the Widow. This is the final one, to the best of my knowledge, and I was really thinking, she seems fairly tall, and she has the strength, she could possibly be very strong. And, tall, slender, strong. Maybe not that great in my terms. So, I think she could win on that front. However, if we look at the animation is literally her killing herself. Literally dying in front of you. And you might say, the reset, though. And I argue, yeah, that's so the animatronic can work. Her animation is literally this woman in front of you getting her neck snapped and dying. Now, maybe whatever demon or whatever did that is coming for you, maybe that's a real issue. But the Widow herself, literally no difficulty. I win. Because, she does it for you. You don't even gotta fight her. So, yeah. That was the list. And by the way, don't take this video seriously. It's just silly. Basically a meme video. And I'd love to see your folks take on this too. Maybe comment what animatronics you'd take down easily or hard. What do you think of these strategies, your strategies? Or if I'm completely wrong on some of them. I don't know. Maybe you think Tombstone Terror could be one of the biggest menaces ever. But that was the video. Like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next one. Farewell.